talking about?
Donald Trump didn't lower the flag for Melissa Hortman after he did, of course, for Charlie Kirk. Was
actually not after. That was before. And also, and here's another important point, no one fucking heard of Melissa Hortman. And I don't mean this in a bad way. Okay? Obviously, it's a true tragedy what happened to her. But no one heard of her. Okay? Like, there wasn't this mass country mourning because no one heard who she was. Like, I'm sure, and I don't mean this in a bad way. She wasn't like some sort of massive national figure that affected so many people. She wasn't a person of Donald Trump. Literally not. If you like, you can't compare her to Charlie Kirk.
Okay, when he was asked about Melissa Hortman, he said, "Who is that?" He didn't know who.
Yeah, because a lot of tragedies happen. What does this even mean? Like, you understand the story of Melissa Hortman. Melissa Hortman was a Democrat that suspiciously voted against illegal immigrants getting health care. Then she mysteriously was murdered by an appointee of Tim Walz, who literally had no King's merchandise in his car. And they're saying that that's right-wing violence. Unbelievable.
Melissa Hortman didn't even attend her funeral like President Biden did, former President Biden. So these are examples of political violence.
Political violence is when you don't go to someone's funeral that you never heard of before? That's political violence, but not actually directly supporting and endorsing it? Like, these people are insane.
The largest example of modern political violence comes from your party.
That's not even from the right. It's
Donald
insane.
Trump on January 6th, and then he...
Oh my God, they'll never stop. January 6th, there was actually a police officer that was pushed on January 6th. Yes, there were FBI agents there. Yes, there were Antifa people there undercover, but technically, yes, Trump wanted the National Guard to be there. Pelosi made sure that didn't happen. But actually, January 6th happened, and that's a classic example of me having sex with my own butt.
Proceeded to pardon all of those people. So you keep talking about
I love how she's laughing because like you can't take the January 6th stuff seriously anymore. Because when you like, he's running defense for a guy, Mamdani, who was running defense for like, who was saying that 9/11 wasn't as bad as taking out the terrorists that killed people on 9/11. This is insane.
Violence, but every major Democrat condemn any violence. I would condemn anybody the lives of any conservative for their beliefs. But your guy,
you're so brave.
Pardon people who beat police officers over the head.
You do realize that first of all, I actually am not a big fan of pardoning people that actually attack police officers. I'm not a fan of that personally. I haven't been from day one. I'm still not a fan of that. However, I do think they needed a retrial because they were political prisoners. With all due respect, they were political prisoners. They were literally in jail for 4 years. Some without trials. Like, that's insane. They were punished severely. All right, now you're against... okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Now you're against assaulting police officers when your entire party has been inciting violence against police and ICE officers for the last 6 months? Are you insane? Like, I have zero sympathy for any of their talking points. Not even a single one. Every single person that's at any of these violent riots throwing rocks at police officers should be under the jail. Well, what are we even talking about? Well, this is insanity. Why are we even playing this game? And no, that's not me calling for violence. That's me calling for justice. If you try to kill somebody, they should take you out first. If you are violent to police officers, you should go to jail. ICE too.
All right. Let me tell you, to be clear though. You know, I'm looking at photographs here on my phone from the protests, right? Charlie Kirk having make assassinations great again, right? There was this woman who's now been identified as a teacher, right? Who was literally on video.
I will be talking about that in the upcoming video. I'm doing a deep dive onto the corrupt teachers, like teachers that are all like supporting assassinations and stuff. So definitely subscribe because that one's coming and that one's gonna be crazy.
Mocking the assassination, mimicking what happened. Now, would you unreservedly condemn that?
I think I've made this abundantly clear by
Good morning, my ass. Buy something, then it might be a good morning.
Against anybody for their political
What's the matter? Can't find what you're looking for?
Suggest that it's only people on the
Oh, you want to guarantee, huh? Well, maybe you should try Shamway.
But it's like 99%.
False, and I know it because after Charlie Kirk was murdered, I reported to the FBI. I've been a subject of these targets, as I'm sure the fellow right-wingers on this panel have been the subject of death threats from people that disagree with them. So be nuanced about this. Let's not be disingenuous and surface level.
I am nuanced about it. 99% of the issues come from the left. Like, that is being nuanced. Okay? Both sides bad, even though we're 99% of the problem. Yeah.
Informed political discussion, which would all lead us to the conclusion that...
But also, can we make something else clear? This is about Donald Trump posting a meme of dropping shit on you. Like, this is not even remotely the same. Okay, let's make this very clear. Okay? You are trying to take this moral high ground. Charlie Kirk murdered, Harry Sisson victimized, and now he's an abused victim of Donald Trump posting a video of an AI meme dropping shit on him. And he's like, both sides bad. This is insane.
There are crazy people on both sides who will make threats to people on both sides.
You're right, 90% of them are on the left.
And coming on here and pretending that it's one or the other and citing examples of people who are not elected to the Democratic Party when there are people in the Republican Party who
from my point of
is
view,
disingenuous.
Well, from my point of view, there is no doubt that there are people on both sides that do this kind of thing. The irony here and the shameless hypocrisy is that you have these widespread protests across America.
I'm sorry, Pierce, you suck too. People need to be honest about this. People really need to be honest about this. You do not have mass protests of millions of people on the right going out, standing alongside people, carrying signs saying kill Obama. It's not something that ever happened. Never. It never happened, ever. No kill Bernie Sanders, no kill AOC, no kill Nancy Pelosi. Right? None of this. None of that happened, to be fair. And all those people suck. Right? Not even kill Anthony Fauci. People on the right want Anthony Fauci tried, maybe executed on treason, but no one wants him to get assassinated. Like, this is insane. It's crazy to consider this as a both sides issue. It's really not. It's really not. You're gonna have some psychos on each side, obviously, but it is massively accepted on the left, and it's not accepted whatsoever on the right. Saying that a group chat of Republicans making Hitler jokes that ends up getting leaked is the same as people publicly calling for political assassinations is not even remotely similar.
With a lot of people engaging in this, and a lot of people were...
There were signs of Saddam and Osama. Last I checked, Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden are not American politicians. Last I checked. So let's not go back to Saddam and Osama for right-wing political violence.
Testing about how disgusting Donald Trump is whilst being disgusting themselves. And so my point is, if you're going to protest about this guy saying he wants to be king, isn't he terrible, blah, 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 you probably shouldn't be glorifying the assassination of a 31-year-old dad. Let me bring this up for Sobey here.
But just for the record, I agree.
Okay, good.
Like, everyone, so, like, look at you taking the moral high ground. You agree that all political violence is bad. You're just not willing to admit that it's an epidemic on your side, and it's really not an epidemic on the other side. And that's why it's so unfortunate and annoying to have these conversations.
Sobey, I mean, this... Let's go to the meme first of all. Did you have a big problem with it? Should Trump avoid doing things like that? He's not a conventional politician. He does shocking things to wind everybody up. I mean, what do you feel about it?
I mean, a meme is a meme. I don't think a meme hurts anybody. You know, it's like Harry, show us on the doll where the meme hurt you. Donald Trump is going to post memes. He's always been posting memes. He's not going to stop posting memes. But at the same time, you look what he actually does in terms of his presidency, and you know, I actually like what he had to say in response to the No Kings protest, where he said, "Look, I'm not a king. I'm just a guy who works really hard and works his butt off to try to make the country better, make the world better." And I think he does do that. I think he legitimately does. When he goes on these trips to Israel to work on the peace deal, when he goes on these trips to Anchorage, Alaska, now he's talking about going to Budapest. People can disagree with specific policies here and there, and I'm sure many do.
Okay, I'm going to come to you in a moment, Scott. Thank you for your patience. I'm just going to bring in Rand Paul, who's joined us in terms of the president's ire this week. U.S. strikes on Venezuelan boats, and joins me again. Welcome back to Uncensored, Senator Paul.
Sorry, I don't care what Rand Paul has. Go back to the retard.
People think in America Donald Trump is behaving like some kind of out of control man. And you could look at what's happening with the attacks on the Venezuelan boats as part of that, sort of trying to just circumnavigate the normal rules of engagement with these things. You can position all of this stuff there. What is your view of the No Kings protest and the way that Trump is currently conducting his presidency, whether it's validity to the idea that he thinks he's just a king and not an elected official?
These people suck so much. What a nothing protest, honestly.
Well, the protests are just a joke. I mean, that's just liberal Democrat voters whining. But I absolutely stand with Senator Paul and with his father, Dr. Ron Paul, on severe and strict constitutionalism. And that means an end to the world empire. You know, I don't know if you saw this, Pierce, but there's actually an article in Foreign Affairs, which is the journal of the empire since 1921. They have an article this week about, geez, how did the presidency get so imperial? Well, you need an imperial presidency to rule a world empire, don't you now? If you're going to be the dominant political and military force in all of Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and Africa, as well as Latin America, then yeah, you're going to need a pretty powerful president and a National Security Council.
Why are you complaining? Sounds good to me, right? No, people complaining about it. Look, I'm not like there are a lot of people that are like super isolationist these days. They're like, oh, I really America's getting involved with the rest of the world. I am not an isolationist. While I want America to absolutely be America first, and I want America to put America before anything else, completely and utterly, that doesn't mean that literally close your eyes, stuff your ears, and say la 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 la, and not have a culture that impacts the rest of the world either. I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest.
That can declare any emergency and act with haste to do whatever they want. We listened to Dr. Paul talk about the strikes.
Like, these are the people that are so mad that Trump struck cartel ships from Venezuela. They're like, oh my god, I can't believe it. They're sending drugs to our country from Venezuela and you bombed them without due process. You didn't give the narco-terrorists due process.
Venezuela.
Oh my god, dude, you didn't say that. You didn't give due process to the narco-terrorists.
There's no, as Al Gore would say, there's no controlling legal authority. No one even pretends that anyone can make them stop.
Okay, these people need all, first of all, I want to make this clear. They all need to shut the fuck up and leave. Not America, but just public discourse. Until they can acknowledge that Obama did 26,000 drone strikes illegally without congressional approval. These people have to stop, okay? Venezuela, narco-terrorists, trying to bring drugs into our country, okay, and kill our people for money. That's why they're doing it, and that's what's happening. They get bombed, okay? How can you consider that a gross miscarriage of justice without congressional approval when you're fined with Obama drone striking 26,000 times across the world completely randomly? How can you possibly compare? You're insane.
In the United States, hell, he can launch H-bombs at any city he chooses. There's no one to tell him no. And that's because America is a world empire instead of a little. And that's why, you know, I regret, I don't mean to like diminish anyone. I just think it's sad how partisan politics makes everyone so stupid. We need to abolish the Federal Reserve System and institute a 100% gold standard. We need to bring all our troops home from the world. And we need to repeal about 99% of the laws passed since 1900.
Honestly, I don't disagree with that. That's kind of base. That's kind of base. All right, I respect that.
To save this country, we got people crying about, you know, expertise.
Oh my! He killed him. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, true. True.
I'll take your point. I mean, the irony, I think, of this whole No Kings thing is that the US president legally has far more power, actually, than the royal family have in the UK. They have no real power at all. They're just figureheads. So there's a kind of irony.
Well, they had to rename the No Kings protest in England to No Tyrants, because they literally have a king.
There is no kings, but actually, if you had a king like ours, then the power of the presidency would be massively reduced, not increased. So there is a kind of weird.
All right, dude. Yeah, obviously, you have the British guy sucking the cock of a monarchy. Like, dude, okay, this is gonna sound real, and I'm probably gonna piss off some British people. I have no respect for the monarchy in England right now. They are figurehead losers. I'm not trying to be rude here. They do fucking nothing. All right, they do nothing. They contribute nothing, and people venerate them for some reason. And they really don't deserve the veneration because they ain't doing shit. I'm not trying to be rude here. I'm really not. Like, I just don't get it at all. Why? Like, on the one hand, you have a king, but on the other hand, he does fucking nothing. So, like, why are we even doing this?
I think assumption going on here that our king or queen as it was.
What about the queen? I think Queen Elizabeth was like a good person, okay, on an individual level. But I have, like, no respect for an English monarchy that doesn't do anything.
Before, of course, the king's mother, that they somehow have great powers. They don't. Isabel, I want to just play a clip. This is Robert De Niro talking about Stephen Miller, one of Donald Trump's senior aides.
We see it. He will not want to leave. He set it up with his, I guess he's the Goebbels of the cabinet, Stephen Miller.
He called Stephen Miller Goebbels? The most racist people on the planet are the leftists. What the fuck? Goebbels was Hitler's second in command. So this A calls Trump Hitler, and B, like, bro, you're literally gonna be, you're really gonna go out there and call. You're really gonna go out there and call the one Jew on Trump's cabinet Goebbels? Really, bro? Really, dude? Then you say the right wing is anti-Semitic? Oh, please.
He's a Nazi. Yes, he is. He's Jewish. He should be ashamed of this.
Oh my God! These people, like, he knows. It's the first thing that popped into his head. Oh my God! They're like actual psychos. They're actually crazy.
I'm sorry, I just find that unbelievably offensive. To call a Jewish man a Nazi, to call him...
Tell him, Pierce! You know what, Pierce? I take back all the bad things I've ever said about you. You tell him, bro.
Goebbels.
Yeah, tell him, fat Asian guy. Yeah, you cook, my dude.
Propaganda chief.
I get so many people calling me a Nazi for shit, like saying that I want to deport every illegal. I get so much of that shit, and it's honestly, it makes me smile every time.
The Nazis. And they keep doing this. The Democrats and Democrat supporters. And, you know, De Niro's been doing this about Trump for decades, it seems. He's almost hysterical about it. But to call a Jewish member of the Trump administration a Nazi like that, it's just beyond the pale, isn't it? Wide
and it's wildly irresponsible.
% off and free shipping.
All right.
It is. It's wildly irresponsible, Piers, but it's the same behavior we've witnessed for upwards of a decade now, really since Donald Trump first announced his run for presidency in 2015. You've watched the legacy media, our academic institutions, the entertainment industry, all of the loudest voices in society call Donald Trump or anyone who supports him or works for him a fascist, a Nazi, literally Adolf Hitler, Hitler Youth. I was called regularly on my college campus. And I know Jack Posobiec, myself, and many people who've been fighting on the front lines of this conservative movement have been warning for upwards of a decade. This is the natural result when you label people.
I think the natural result is assassinating Charlie Kirk and mass celebrations. I think that's the result. I'll be real. Name calling doesn't bother me. I don't care. Like, I'm a very consistent guy. I don't care about jokes. That matters to me. That's why when everyone says you have to condemn that there was a Republican group chat where some people were making Hitler comments, and I said I don't care, and people were upset at me for saying I don't care, I really don't care. I actually think that jokes are fine. Jokes don't matter. Memes don't matter. It's when it borders into that actual incitement of violence. If actions are caused by the memes and that are much, much worse. You know? Like, there's a obvious difference between calling someone a doo-doo head, alright, and calling someone a pedophile. The difference is when you call someone a doo-doo head, that's an insult. When you call someone a pedophile, that's an insult to actually inflict violence upon them. And if it's not, then that is inciting violence. And that's defamation, and you should probably face consequences. Like, there's an obvious difference. And I think that calling someone a Nazi falls more on the pedophile spectrum. I don't think that that's an insult. I think that that is slander. Because that person that you're calling a Nazi, last I checked, he hasn't been working any Jew death camps. You know? Like, it's insane. It's unreal that these people don't understand the obvious difference here. And that's why I don't care about a Republican group chat. When these people are celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk, I don't care. Are the jokes nice? No, but they're jokes. So who fucking cares?
With this rising police, a fascist.
I'm okay with that one. That one's cool. That one we can keep that one. But the Nazi stuff, no, that shit's crazy. But the transphobe, yeah, we can keep that one. This one.
KK and Photoshop hoods over.
To be fair, transphobia is I'll be real. Like, I get it. I get it. Like, you know, I kind of get it. Like, I'll be real. Do you want your child to be taught about gender teacher in middle school? I personally don't want that for my children. And therefore, I am phobic in a certain way. So yeah, absolutely.
People eventually resort to violence.
That is the key. Yeah, I mean that's the key thing. Let me bring it back here. I mean, you know, we saw Charlie Kirk.
Some of them here, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I don't really care. Generational mass castration of children. You know, I personally feel like that's worse than the trophy thing. Now, the trophy thing is cringe. It's stupid. It's obviously dumb. I'll fight against it because it's unjust. But it's more the mass castration of children thing that I don't like so much, to be honest.
Since the shooter used had anti-fascism slogans on there, so that he, you know, we don't know the full motivation yet. That is still unraveling. But clearly, it looks like this person was attacking somebody who thought was a fascist, and that's because all the people left called Charlie Kirk a fascist and a Nazi, as they do with. And to me, if you're a deranged, young, impressionable mind, if you do buy into that notion that they're genuine fascists and Nazis, you would see it as your civic duty to kill these people. Why wouldn't you? And that's the danger.
I've been saying this forever. If there's actually some sort of Nazi fascist takeover of the country, the thing you have to do is actually fight back with violence. Because if there's an actual Nazi takeover, you have to kill them. So, when you're calling people Nazis, you are calling for political violence. That's very obvious.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, and that's what we're facing. And by the way, hats off to Oxford, because I understand the Oxford Union has just voted to take out the incoming president of the Oxford Union. He'd been the president-elect. I guess he hadn't taken it. Here's a guy who hated Charlie, had invited him to campus just a couple of weeks before Charlie's birthday, and then is blatantly celebrating the murder of a man that he had just shared a stage with. And certainly they had disagreed on that stage, and that's fine. That's what free speech and free dialogue and free debate, especially on campus, which is the modern public square, is all about. Yet here he is now celebrating this, laughing about Charlie's murder. And the issue here is that these violent Marxist ideologies are commonplace. And they're becoming more.
We need to get this back, and I think that we need we need arrests. We need to arrest the people that are calling for violence. These people need to go to jail. Like, and until that happens, people are just gonna be really comfortable calling for violence until it keeps happening again and again and again. I don't think it's even remotely acceptable. I guess part of a democracy that someone should do that. Call for political violence. I don't think you have the right to partake in it. I would actually
It obviously wants me to go up here.
It's insane to look like it.
And I even have a bone to pick with some conservatives who say, oh, it's just video games, it's just social media. No. Go back in time and you can find throughout history, whether it's the French Revolution, which by the way, there was no kings. No kings, no masters. That's where the phrase comes from, right before the
Not a coincidence that they use no kings. Because think about it, there is no king. That's no king is retarded. They're not calling it so fast. Borrowed the term from the French Revolution. And I covered a video about that.
So that's where that phrase comes from. And everyone needs to understand the violent tendencies and violent origins of all of these symbols that are still tapping back into it. One of the bullet piercers, I think the ones, not one of the ones that was fired. Destiny was very specifically.
Niro calling Stephen Miller a Nazi. So this constant refrain from people on the left of invoking the Nazis, Adolf Hitler, all this stuff. I just don't know why you guys do this. Obviously, Trump is not Adolf Hitler. Apart from anything else, he's trying to find peace, right? Not actually killing everyone that gets in his way. You know, and he had a Jewish son-in-law. So these things are just...
He's a Jewish daughter. His daughter converted to Judaism. This is retarded. He's obviously not a Nazi. He's obviously not Hitler. This is insane. Like, the whole Hitler thing, like, originally, like, we were shrugging it off, but there are millions of people that believe this. Like, you know, there are millions of people that believe he's Hitler. What do you do to Hitler? Like, this is insane.
They're not just wrong. They're unbelievably offensive in a way that actually the woke left would normally lead the charge of wanting to cancel people that said these kind of things. But apparently it's fine on the left.
No, that's not true. The major difference is the woke left. I think it's ironic to me that Piers Morgan wrote a book about wokeness and he doesn't understand anything about wokeness. It's insane. Wokeness is an ideology that's neo-Marxist at its core, where the world is made up between two vectors. On one side, you have the oppressor, and on the other side, you have the oppressor. Wokeness is waking up to the fact that we live in an oppressor-oppressed dynamic, where the people that are oppressed are the black people who descended from slavery, or the gay people, because they only got rights more recently, or women, because they didn't have as many rights as men, you know, 50 years ago or something, and now they do, but they didn't. You know, etc., etc. That is wokeness. Wokeness is neo-Marxism. The reason why woke doesn't care if you directly call Trump Hitler is because Trump is powerful. Because Trump is a straight white guy that's a powerful guy, and therefore he cannot be considered on the oppressed side of the graph. So therefore, they will always consider him evil no matter what. Obama could do 26,000 drone strikes illegally, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter that he's part of the entire giant establishment, the Democrat establishment. You know why? He black and gay. So, I mean, realistically, he's on the oppressed side of the woke meter no matter what. And that is how you look. That's how it is. So Israel is being more powerful than Gaza, makes Israel an oppressor and oppressed, even though Gaza literally started the war. And it'll be like that on the left every single time. And that's the woke left. The woke left is always looking at things from a oppressor-oppressed mindset. That's why black people will be let out of prisons at a higher rate than white people. And that's why transgenderism is the absolute pinnacle, because they are super oppressed. They even oppress themselves 41% of the time. So that's the vector. So that's why they don't care that Trump is called Hitler. It's because they literally think he's the oppressor and they want him dead.
I mean, what's your reaction first to De Niro, and then maybe talk about your post and whether you regret using the Nazi language?
Well, I'm going backwards. I'm going to start with mine and then talk about what De Niro said. So first and foremost, in that ad that Donald Trump
I love how he starts talking. Everyone starts yawning. That's crazy.
did, the words unified Reich were on a newspaper that appeared in the ad that was like praising Donald Trump. So if the Trump campaign is putting that in an ad, I think that deserves to be called out. Number two, I don't know if anybody in this debate can name me a high-ranking elected Democrat who has called Donald Trump Hitler. I don't.
Kamala Harris. You know, the vice president, the one that was running for president of the United States. Kamala Harris called him Hitler. That's the highest-ranking Democrat you could possibly fucking think of. Why are we even talking about this? Are you insane?
I don't think anybody can. Number three, one of the only high-ranking politicians in American politics who called Donald Trump Hitler is J.D. Vance, calling him America's Hitler. Now, working backwards to what Robert De Niro said. I think what Robert De Niro said is...
Oh my God, he's living in his own world.
He certainly could have worded it better.
Bro, I love how he's saying Hitler, not Nazi, because they all call him a Nazi. They all do that. Hitler is a little more, you know...
They're taking out some charged language. But I just see these recent stories about Republicans, whether it be the youth leader group chat or Paul and Grassi.
There was a youth group that leaked memes making jokes about Hitler. This is literally as bad as us killing Charlie Kirk and celebrating his murder. It's the same thing. It's both sides.
Yeah, who is still Donald Trump's nominee to lead the office of special counsel, pledging affinity for Hitler. Peter Gordon, chair of New York, said that.
celebrating communism. All right, they're giving out communist newspapers. Can I just make it clear? All right, this is coming from a Jew, all right, grandchild of Holocaust survivors. The communists are just as bad as the Nazis. They're the same fucking thing, okay? They're equally bad. They're both terrible. And the fact that Nazis are considered on the left, like, oh, we have to get rid of the Nazis. But then you have the communists who they literally suck their cocks. Like, that is insane, okay? Like, they're both bad. They're both evil. They're both ideologies that have killed millions. They both need to be ostracized from society. But Trump's not Hitler. He's not a Nazi. And making jokes saying that you like Hitler is not being a Nazi.
Refitting gas chambers so they, quote, fit the Hitler aesthetic. Paul Ingrassia, the special counsel nominee, again, a joke, just got caught in other leaked texts saying that he has a Nazi streak. So when these
Well, that doesn't mean he's a Nazi. That means he has a streak. And he said it in a group. He said it privately. Like, dude, this is insane.
ranking Republicans who are working with the party right now.
Okay, you know what? Like, it is ridiculous to even acknowledge this. I just read you that planter guy, whatever his name is, that literally has an SS Death's Head tattoo. A guy running in Maine to be a Democrat guy. You have Jay Jones that's literally calling for a guy running for the Virginia Attorney General position, literally talking about murdering Republican children because they're little fascists. Like, on the left, you have people saying, yo, let's kill these people. On the right, you have guys being like, Lamau, Hitler, Lamau. This is not the same. This is not even remotely the same. It's insane that we need to make believe that
a pledging affinity to Hitler. I think that every Republican should be paid. I don't agree with that. But conservatives on this panel condemn number one Donald Trump's nominee, and number two, can they condemn the Youth Republican group chat? And
can you condemn the jokes that a couple of guys made in private? Please condemn it. Condemn it now. I have never said the N-word. Not at all. I wouldn't even look at the mirror and say it's blasphemous in its own way. It has power. I would never do such a thing.
Then number three, if they write it off as a joke, then why were they so against people joking about Charlie Kirk? They never joked about Charlie Kirk, but they picked...
There's a big difference between joking about Charlie Kirk and saying we should do it more and celebrate his murder. There's a pretty big difference between inciting violence and joking about it.
You can choose when humor can be applied in politics, and when you're pledging affinity to Hitler, that's a joke, according to many.
First of all, it literally was a joke. If you read the message, it literally was a joke.
By the way, I'd be happy to answer the question about whether or not a high-ranking Democrat has used this rhetoric. Who is Kamala Harris?
Oh,
I want you to answer all the questions.
Answer the question, please.
Answer the question, Kamala. Answer all the questions. Start from the beginning. Start by condemning all the Republicans that made jokes in the group chat.
Kamala Harris.
Wait. Answer all the questions I just gave you. And can you name
I'm
me
answering
when
your
Kamala
first
Harris said that
question.
Donald Trump is
question. Who was
when
so
did
here's
Kamala
this.
Harris? Great.
Kamala Harris last year a high-ranking Democrat, and she was
When
the
did
party
Kamala
nominee.
Harris call Donald Trump Hitler?
October of 2004, Kamala Harris
When did that happen?
said on the campaign trail, Donald Trump vowed to be a dictator on day one. His former chief of staff said he wanted
Oh my God.
like Hitler. Donald Trump openly admires dictators, including Adolf Hitler. Last October, that was said on the campaign trail.
During the campaign,
Yeah,
during
yeah,
the closing
yeah,
days
exactly.
of the campaign. It was
Yeah,
the final
exactly.
campaign pitch. Is that
Yeah, exactly. He proves my point. Why does he do this? It's incredible. It's like, name anyone that calls Trump Hitler. Kamala Harris. Yeah, exactly what I was saying. She just said he was like Hitler, not that he was Hitler.
is that high enough ranking for you? You guys you supported her for president. For president is someone who is campaigning by calling Trump Hitler. Bring this stuff up. You can't even acknowledge the fact that your own candidate was on the campaign. She got a video about it. It's on her Facebook. Or it's on her Facebook.
Let me offer one here, which is Hillary
Wait,
Clinton.
can I-
Hillary Clinton literally compared Trump's rally in Ohio last week to Nazi leader Adolf Hitler's speeches. Speaking of the
Wait, let me
Texas
just
Tribune
work.
Festival,
Everybody,
she made reference.
All right, which Democrats will call Trump Hitler or a Nazi? James Clyburn, House Majority Whip. That's exactly what I'm saying, affirming Trump is another Hitler. Jerry Nadler, House Judiciary Chairman, comparing Trump's rhetoric towards immigrants to Nazi propaganda against Jews, calling him a dictator. Kamala Harris calling it deeply troubling and incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would evoke Adolf Hitler, named drunken fascist. Tim Walz accused Trump of descending into madness and wanting the kinds of generals Hitler had. Hillary Clinton compared Trump's Madison Square Garden rally to a 1939 pro-Nazi rally. Jasmine Crockett defended Trump by calling Trump a wannabe Hitler. Joe Biden posted a video condemning Trump for echoing the language of Nazi Germany in campaign ads. Highlighting some abuse of Nazi
The Hitler speeches and talking raised.
Called Donald Trump. I don't think anybody in this debate can name me a high-ranking elected Democrat who has called Donald Trump Hitler.
I don't even know what to call him. I've called him so many things, but this wannabe Hitler for sure.
If you drink all, I'd shake your hand, but I bet you got dysentery the way you smell. Bye or bye.
They're so bad. Like, you can't even call someone Hitler with a full chest anymore. Damn.
Is their right arm in the air in the Nazi salute. I remember as a young student, trying to figure out how people basically got bought in by Hitler. She said, how did that happen? I'd watch newsreels and I'd see this guy standing there ranting and raving and so on.
Thank you very much. Wipe that smirk off your face. Doing one job doesn't make us pals. Got it?
Harry, I would say J.D. Vance was totally wrong to say it about Trump as well. I think
look who's tired of eating. I'd say it's been an honor to work with you, but it would be a lie.
Pussy coward.
Can they say that?
They made jokes in the chat that were leaked. Were they not nice jokes? Yeah, but they were jokes. Who cares? What are we doing?
Test stuff in
I
there.
have no problem saying that, Harry. But there are
Jack, can
sitting
you say
members
that?
like Jasmine Crockett, who literally just weeks ago called Donald Trump a wannabe. I mean, it's crazy.
Jack, can you say that? Jack, can you say that? Can you condemn the Young Republicans group chat where they pledged affinity for Hitler?
Hey, I don't really care about some group chat right now while you guys keep shooting up all of my friends.
Oh, no, Jack. Jack, you can condemn both. You can
but I do think, Jack, I do think.
Yeah, it's not like, again, it's like making the two sides thing, Jack. This is the two sides bullshit that we keep seeing. It's like, we kill you. You made a joke with the group chat saying that you're a wannabe Hitler. Can we condemn both sides here?
For consistency. Actually, you should care.
I'm telling you, Piers Morgan is such a gigantic pussy. It's incredible. It's truly incredible how much of a giant, walking, slimy schmorgel this guy is sometimes. My guy, dude, a couple of guys in a college, in a group chat making jokes should not even be in the same sentence as assassinating Charlie Kirk or calling for political assassination. Jokes are not the same thing.
J.D. Vance tried to downplay what the young Republicans were saying in these racist, sexist messages.
Racist messages? Oh my God! There was literally a woman in the chat, by the way.
One guy said that rape was
I don't
epic.
think J.D. Vance said anything wrong.
One said rape.
Oh my God! One guy said rape is epic. It's a joke. Context. This is really horrifying. Will this cause more women getting raped in America? Because he said rape is epic as a joke. Again, I don't think it's a funny joke. I don't think it's a nice thing to say. Who fucking cares? It's a joke. Why are we doing this? Like, this isn't public endorsement of rape. You know who else said rape is epic? Let me think. E. Jean Carroll, the person that accused Trump of raping her, said rape is sexy. That's right. That's right. The person who the entire Democrat Party came together to hold hands, sing Kumbaya, and blame E. Jean Carroll for suing Trump for rape, said rape is sexy. Could all the Democrats please condemn her, please?
It was epic. Another said, I love Hitler. He tried to say they're all very young, but actually some of them were nearly his age.
It literally doesn't matter. They were jokes that are private. That is not the same thing as public calls for violence.
My friends, concerned about this. You can condemn those guys.
You can condemn those guys.
Harry Sisson is like the quintessential problem here. Like, do you realize what he's saying? Condemn both. Condemn both a guy saying a joke about Hitler in private and also condemn assassinating my friend. And he's like, condemn both. Yeah, both bad. Do you understand how evil this is? Like, to even put both of them on the same wavelength? It's like, can you please condemn saying the N-word and also perpetrating the Holocaust? Can you please condemn the word faggot and also condemn Hitler for killing 6 million Jews? Can we condemn both, please? Can we please condemn both? And it's like, are you joking? Are you kidding? Well, why are we even putting these on the same pedestal? This is crazy.
I think you could easily condemn all. I think you could actually. Wait. Well, hang on. No, you wait, Harry. If you're going to be intellectually honest, actually, it should be easy to condemn all of these things. All the invoking the Nazis and Hitler
What a
should be
loser.
condemned. It's never
Invoking the Nazis as a joke in a private group chat needs to be outwardly condemned by every political official. Are you insane? Are you crazy? How is this the same thing? Like, this is insanity. Oh my god.
appropriate because Hitler and the Nazis were a gazillion times worse.
And what about every leftist? Do you all need to go out there and start condemning communists? Because some guy said he wants the government to own public grocery stores? So we need to start condemning communists now? It's completely insane. Like, this is ridiculous. These are not the same thing. I mean, he's a classic British guy because people in England get arrested for jokes. So I get why he's all upset. I get why his panties are in a bunch. I understand why his knickers are in a twist. But, like, this is crazy.
Anything we're seeing here, I think the messaging between the young Republicans was appalling and should be condemned.
Yeah, it wasn't nice. But it was jokes in private. And it literally doesn't fucking matter when they're, the other side is literally publicly calling to violence.
I think that J.D. Vance, trying to defend it and calling Trump Hitler before, should be easily condemned. All these things should be condemned. The killing of Charlie Kirk should be absolutely condemned by anyone, right? All of these things, if you're going to be intellectually honest, should be condemned. I want to just change gears now. I want to bring Scott back.
What do you think, guys? Is this guy walking in public dressed as Charlie Kirk assassinated at a protest or better? A joke in private. What do you think, guys? What do you think, guys? What are we thinking? Yeah? You think this is worse or better? I'm just asking personally. I just want to know. Like, what do we think? That's why I don't care. Because no one on the left will condemn this, because no one on the left cares. No one on the left cares. This is worse. This is public. But I don't want this guy jailed. I think it's a completely tasteless joke. I think he's a shitty guy. I wouldn't necessarily want him as a teacher or whatever. But there's a big difference between something like this and saying a joke about Hitler in a group chat. That gets leaked. Sorry, it's not the same. You're all crazy.
Let's talk about
I feel
Israel.
like we should hold them to account, Pierce. I mean,
Everyone should be held to account, but everyone should be.
But you're talking about, Pierce, you're talking about political violence.
It would be much better.
Making a joke about Hitler isn't political violence. Killing someone is political violence.
For the political discourse in
Pierce,
America.
you're letting him get away. You're letting him get away.
No,
Letting him get away.
Jack is in a corner right now, right? If he continues to go with this line of understandable as he but do you
understand how insane this is? Like, by making believe
is a line. It is a line. First of all, you guys was not the Democratic Party. But second of all, Jack, you condemn both. Look at the isolated incidents of these young Republicans praising Hitler. Can you condemn that, Jack? Jack, can you condemn people who pledge allegiance to Hitler? Can you pledge allegiance to Hitler?
Yeah, but actually, let me. It is difficult for you to just say that what those young Republicans were saying in these messages that was exposed was wrong and should be condemned. Why is that difficult?
No, I don't think it's difficult at all. But what I do think is by Politico. Politico, by the way.
But if they were young people on the left who were
that it was
exposed
time to come out
stuff,
the same
would
day
condemn it.
anyone cares about young people on the left in a private group chat that are saying things like Stalin, communism actually in a private group chat. But thing is, we don't even need to make this joke. Like, we don't even we don't even need to talk about this because they're public about it. They are publicly out here celebrating assassinations. So, no, actually, I don't give a shit.
First presidential nomination.
And that's the point. And that's exactly right, Piers. He
Metal
condemns
Freedom
people on the
Summit.
left who joke about other things he doesn't like, but when it comes to pledging allegiance to
Yeah, when
Hitler,
you guys
he won't
publicly
condemn
shoot
it.
at my
Jack, let me
friends,
ask you
yes,
a
I
simple
do.
question.
Yeah, but they can
Jack,
both
let
be
me
wrong.
ask you
They
a
can
simple
both be
question.
wrong, Jack. And I do think if it was young,
But again, like saying both wrong is like saying it's wrong to say faggot, and it's also wrong to be a Nazi soldier gassing Jews in the Holocaust. Both are wrong. I mean, technically, maybe. Technically, there's kind of a difference here. But it's insane. Like, this is truly unbelievable. Like here, this is at the everyone's favorite No Kings protest. Right? So this is a group chanting about the murder of Charlie Kirk. What about this? Here, let's watch a little supercut. Let's watch a little mashup of the No Kings protest.
Hey! Trevor!
Yeah, that's in the group chat. Yeah, that's worse than a group chat.
President Trump is dead? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's worse than a group chat. Yep, that's worse than a group chat.
647, explain it to me. I like the colors. Kill the son of a bitch. To who? 647 crazy.
That's worse than, in my opinion, that's a lot worse than group chat. For the record, this was literally in one protest on one day. All of these clips. Make assassinations great again. All right. Cholesterol, do your job from a senator about Donald Trump. Kill ICE with a big X on a cross. I could keep going forever for the record, in case you were curious. All of them are worse than a group chat, every single one. Every single one is worse than a group chat, not even close. Alright, so the joke about Hitler in a group chat is not the same as people publicly calling him a murderer and assassin. So that's why I don't actually give a shit. I actually don't care. Sorry, don't care, Harry Pitt.
people on the left who were doing
One direction.
you would condemn it.
And that's why Pierce Morgan worries me nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer. No, I would not go out and condemn a couple of leftists in group chats making jokes. The leftists publicly call for assassination. So, no, I actually don't care.
Going in one
Let me ask
direction.
you a simple
Alright, I want to move on.
Everybody has Republicans talk about political violence and extreme rhetoric. What is doing the real
Political violence and extreme rhetoric. Hitler is very interested in making a joke about Hitler.
You guys, which is a shame. Slightly reined back on his.
All right. Harry Sisson drama. Israel. So we're gonna call it there. I covered Israel pretty heavily in the Hassan Piker video. So where Hamas immediately decided to blame Israel for killing their own people as a false flag. So that was yesterday's video. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. Harry Sisson, get a hold on your mangina. I hope you condemn Hamas. I hope you condemn it. In the group chat. Could we please condemn it? Could you please condemn it? I know that we're all calling for political assassination. Could you please condemn it to the college guys and go to the group chat? Please condemn it. Anyway, dude, literally, the emojis, those two fucking emojis, the glasses emoji and the he's like the unholy combo of those two bangers. Anyway, thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys. So yeah, anyway, this is Harry Sisson Media One because Donald Trump posted a meme about pooping on him at a protesting a made-up thing. Yes, this was a filler video, but this is what the media cares about. We're gonna make a poll. Did you ever say the N-word? Alright, this includes in private, yourself in a mirror. Yes and no. Alright, this includes in private with no victims to your assault of speech. I'm just curious. I want to hear what you have to say. Alright, let me hear. Did you ever say the N-word privately? Did you ever say the N-word? Did you really ever? Did you really ever say the N-word? Alright, can we please condemn people saying the N-word to themselves in the mirror? I just want to know, alright? I'm just doing a nice poll in the chat to see what you guys have to say. Can you please condemn it? Please condemn it. Alright, so the poll is done. 91% of the people in my chat have said the N-word privately, at least privately to themselves in the mirror, alright? So that's 90% of my audience. I do not condemn anything, okay? Just privately. I'm talking about privately to yourself in a mirror, alright? Privately in a group chat, in your dream, that counts. Any of that. Alright, so that's 90% of the audience. 10%. So and then 10% of people that decided to lie today. Well, anyway, I condemn it all. It's literally the same as the Holocaust. Could we condemn both? Any YouTube commentators will cancel me and say that we should be condemning both? Alright, anyway. Literally no one fucking cares. Okay? Welcome to society. So, see you in the next one. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on tik.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, man.
When you try to think of a word synonymous with the Wild West, the first thing that comes to mind is probably cowboy. But bounty hunter is at least top 5. In Western-themed films, TV shows, and literature, the bounty hunter was usually the shadowy anti-hero, a lone wolf with no real connection to the law who got huge rewards in return for capturing or eliminating outlaws. While that image made for some great stories, in reality, life as a bounty hunter is far different. So, today we're looking at what it was like to be a bounty hunter in the Old West. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel and leave a comment and let us know what other historical professions you would like to hear about. Ironically, despite the popularity of Old West stories about anti-hero bounty hunters chasing down vicious outlaws in the wind-swept desert, the term bounty hunter didn't even exist at the time they were supposed to have been doing all this bounty hunting. The term bounty dates back to the early 1300s. Its original meaning was kindness or goodness. It wasn't until the early 1700s that the word took on the meaning of a reward, but in the form of a bonus given to men to entice them to join a country's army or navy. As in, join now and get a $15 bounty at Red Lobster. By the 1800s, the term bounty hunter was in use for people who received bonuses for collecting animal pelts or dead birds, but not for those tracking and capturing outlaws.
Good afternoon, Jack. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to pay you now that you did it.
Its present-day meaning in 1953, followed in 1954 by American novelist and screenwriter Elmore Leonard. Incidentally, Leonard created Raylan Ginn, a hard-edged Western lawman played by Timothy Oliphant in the television series Justified. As boring as it sounds, most bounty hunters were actually lawmen or freelancers detective agencies and banks. In an analysis of 255 gunfighters, only 3 were found to be the type of steely, cool bounty hunter featured in movies and TV. And even those guys only did their hunting on an occasional basis. Most rewards were $100 or lower, which wasn't enough to make it a full-time gig. If you wanted to be in the business of tracking down bad guys, you had to have a day job. Sort of like every actor in LA. Wonder how many bounty hunters worked as servers at Tender Greens. Furthermore, the bounties being offered weren't necessarily guaranteed. In the case of Pat Garrett, a sheriff just looking to make some extra cash, New Mexico's Governor Lou Wallace placed a newspaper ad offering a reward for Billy the Kid's capture to the tune of $500, which was pretty big money for a bounty. When Garrett Wallace tried to tell him he wasn't entitled to it, claiming it was a personal offer that wasn't binding to the territory itself. Okay, sure, whatever that means. Garrett persisted and eventually received a reward, but not before local citizens, disgusted by the governor's refusal to honor the offer, did the Wild West version of a GoFundMe and raised $1,150 to send to Garrett. Not to say there wasn't the occasional Texas tornado-sized payday. Take Jesse James. Everyone else knows Jesse. Even people who don't know much about history or the Old West usually recognize the name Jesse James. He and his older brother Frank were two of the most infamous outlaws in American history. In 1882, Thomas T. Crittenden, the governor of Missouri, offered a reward of $25,000 for the capture of Jesse, dead or alive, and a $15,000 reward for Frank. Adjusting for inflation, that $40,000 total would be equal to $2.4 million in 2020, which is no small potato. You can buy a lot of cowboy hats for that. Crittenden allegedly had held secret meetings with the coward Robert Ford, a new recruit to the James gang who had been invited to live with Jesse and his family. On April 3rd, 1882, Ford took Jesse out by shooting him in the back while the outlaw was dusting a picture, which seems like a pretty low thing to do. And Ford's actions remain controversial to this day. On the other hand, did I mention how high that reward was? But if you think $25,000 is a lot, John will higher numbers. On April 20th, 1865, the U.S. War Department offered a reward for John Wilkes Booth and accomplices David Harold and John Surratt, $50,000 of which was for Booth himself. Adjusting for inflation, that $100,000 would be equivalent to approximately $9.8 million in 2020. More than enough to hang up your gun belt and spurs. Those kind of paydays, however, were extremely rare. Most of the time, you'd be risking your life to capture or eliminate dangerous criminals for minimum wage. Sometimes that risk was pretty high, like in the case of John Jack Duncan. In 1876, the Texas Rangers sought out Jack Duncan, a 27-year-old police officer, and asked him if he'd be down for a little spy action. They were looking for the notorious outlaw John Wesley Hardin, and needed an undercover agent to get them the information they needed to find him. The Rangers promised Duncan a share of the $4,000 reward if he'd agree to help them infiltrate Hardin's crew. So, using the pseudonym of Williams, Duncan moved to Gonzales County, where Hardin was suspected of hiding, and worked as a laborer and handyman. What followed was a Donnie Brasco-esque scheme of dual identities and double crosses. Duncan made sure to pledge loyalty to the people in Hardin's circle, even befriending Neil Bowen, the outlaw's father-in-law. Bowen eventually took in Williams, as a boarder. Duncan went deep undercover. He even had the Texas Rangers arrest him at one point to make his cover story more believable. Duncan eventually tricked Bowen into giving him Hardin's location and gave the info to the Rangers, who finally nabbed Hardin on a train headed to Florida. Duncan got his money, but quit the Texas Rangers after just 4 months to work as a private detective and bounty hunter in Dallas. Despite the generally appealing depiction of bounty hunters in popular entertainment as grim but honorable anti-heroes with an unflinching sense of justice, in reality, the work they did was frequently unglamorous, if not downright villainous. The first Fugitive Slave Act was passed in 1793, which gave local governments the right to seize and return escaped enslaved people to their owners. As a result, bounty hunters were regularly hired to track down these fugitives. You probably won't see too many of those bounty hunters dead or alive. The law slave owners and their agents had the right to search for escapees in free states. If a suspected escapee was captured, the bounty hunter would then go before a judge and provide evidence that the person was enslaved. If the court was satisfied with the proof, the owner could then take the escapee back to his or her own state, whether or not they had actually been a slave. Northern states tried to prevent this miscarriage of justice. For example, they passed personal liberty laws that gave accused runaways the right to a jury trial. These laws also protected free black people, many of whom had been abducted by bounty hunters and sold into slavery. This law did end up being challenged in the 1842 Supreme Court case, Prigg v. Pennsylvania, which revolved around a bounty hunter named Edward Prigg, a Maryland resident convicted of kidnapping someone he thought was an escaped enslaved person. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of Prigg, setting the precedent that federal law superseded any state measures that attempted to interfere with the Fugitive Slave Act, although northern states still refused to abide by it.
All right, well.
So if you were trying to earn a living as a bounty hunter, you could regularly find yourself tasked with bringing in people whose only crime was wanting to live free. If you think some of these outlaws were scary, there were some equally dangerous bounty hunters out there in the Wild West, if not more so. Take Henry Newton Brown. In 1882, he became the assistant marshal of Caldwell, Kansas, and was later promoted to marshal. But what nobody knew was that Brown was a former outlaw who had been part of Billy the Kid gang, and in 1878 had ambushed and slain a sheriff during the Lincoln County War. He also joined forces with Billy the Kid instead of capturing him, and attempted a robbery of the Medicine Lodge Bank, fatally shooting the bank's manager in the process. The bandits were captured and taken to the Medicine Lodge jail. Brown wasn't so lucky. He was gunned down as he attempted to escape. Should have stuck with the script, man. Those marshal paychecks couldn't have been that bad. But the most infamous bounty hunter was probably Tom Horn. In the late 1880s, the Pinkerton National Detective Agency hired Horn as a bounty hunter and tracker, but he didn't stay with them for long. He became a gun for hire and was thought to be responsible for the murder of more than a dozen people. In other words, he was too wild and unpredictable even for the Pinkertons, and that's saying something. It's like getting kicked out of Motley Crue for partying too hard. Ironically, Horn was hanged in 1903 after being convicted of a crime historians believe he did not commit, the shooting of 14-year-old Willie Nickel, who was shot in the back on July 18, 1901. Even bad guys did a little bounty hunting on the side, though the reasons might not have been as altruistic. The Dunn brothers, B, Calvin, Dahl, George, and Bill, ran a boarding ranch near Ingalls, Oklahoma, where they allowed outlaws to hide out. As a neat little side gig, the brothers also occasionally robbed or killed the travelers who stayed there. In addition, they ran a meat market in Pawnee, a convenient way for them to get rid of the cattle they occasionally raided. According to one account, the Dunns made a deal with lawmen in which they agreed to help capture members of the outlaw Doolin Dalton gang in exchange for getting the cattle rustling charges against them dropped. Their younger sister Rose had been romantically involved with George Bittercourt, and on May 2nd, 1895, he and fellow Doolin Dalton member Charlie Pierce arrived at the ranch. Conflicting reports exist about what happened next. Depending on the source, the brothers either tipped off the law, who then ambushed and eliminated the outlaws, or the Dunn brothers terminated Newcomb and Pierce themselves. Either way, Pierce and Newcomb ended up in the ground, and the Dunns collected the bounty, which reportedly was $5,000 for each man, enough to finally retire from this life of crime. Or on second thought, maybe not. Wild West sheriffs kept law and order on the frontier alongside fellow lawmen and the local citizenry. They've been dramatized, glamorized, and exaggerated in films and literature for generations. Yes, the life of a Wild West sheriff was dangerous, but it was also weird. Today we're going to find out what life was really like as a Wild West sheriff. A Wild West sheriff had to be good with their guns, but skill with a firearm wasn't enough for a man to earn the badge. As elected officials, sheriffs were voted in by county residents, either at regular intervals or during special elections, so they had to be good with people, persuasive. In late summer 1869, James Butler Hickok, better known as Wild Bill, was elected sheriff of Ellis County, Kansas, by a population desperate to stop the ongoing mayhem. Hickok's tactics for keeping the peace were too aggressive for the good people of Kansas. After slaying at least two men, Bill Mulvey and Samuel Strawhan, Hickok was voted out of office during the regular election in November. Hickok was defeated by Democratic candidate Peter Rattlesnake Pete Lanahan, his deputy. What a kick in the groin when the public votes their trust to a guy named Rattlesnake. Though he didn't win another term, Hickok's brief time as sheriff was credited by a Kansas newspaper for his endeavor to rid Hays City of dangerous characters. When Bat Masterson campaigned for sheriff in Dodge City in 1877, he advertised in the local newspaper that he was earnestly soliciting the suffrages of the people for the office, while assuring everyone that he was no politician. Masterson's campaigning paid off, and he took office as sheriff of Dodge City in January of 1878. He became known to his constituents as cool, decisive, and a bad man with a pistol. Sometimes being a sheriff in an Old West town meant you'd experience long periods of nothing. There were some days when the most a sheriff would do was carry out menial tasks like picking up trash. And sometimes when real danger came into town, a sheriff could gather up a posse of men and deputize them if necessary. Rounding up a posse,
Afternoon.
which comes from
Is
the
it
phrase
beer
posse
30
comitatus,
yet?
or made up of civilians, was one of the most powerful tools a sheriff had at his disposal, and it still remains in the law books today. In 1878, the federal government forbade the military from assisting with civilian posses, making the role of civilians that much more essential.
Oh, I got
in
just a
order.
job.
Deputized
What are you
posses
standing
like
there
the
for?
county
Don't you have work to
regulators, known for
do?
its inclusion of Billy the Kid, took part in numerous shootouts with rival posse led by Sheriff William Brady during the 1878 Lincoln County War. The conflict, which originated in the New Mexico Territory before it became a state, ultimately felled 19 men. Although movies and TV shows make it seem like guns and gun violence were unregulated in the Old West, there were many towns and cities that enforced strict laws prohibiting them. In Tombstone, which was located in the territory that would eventually become Arizona, visitors were required to surrender their weapons when they entered town. Men were supposed to hand over their weapons at a hotel or the local lawman's office. In 1881, the local lawman was
Quit
Town Marshal
gawking.
Virgil
Either buy
Earp.
something
In
or
his struggle
piss
to
off.
control the streets of Tombstone, Marshal Earp deputized his two brothers, Wyatt and Morgan.
Shit,
as well as
man.
John
I treat
Henry
you
Doc
that
Holliday
good,
to
and
help
you
him
don't
maintain
even
order.
fucking
When
tip
Cowboys
me.
Billy Clanton and Tom and Frank McClory refused to surrender their weapons to the Earps and Holliday, it led to a fight that left the Cowboys 6 feet under. Tombstone made gun control popular.
DoorDash delivery girl has been arrested on 2 felony charges after recording a man passed out with his pants down in his home and posting it on TikTok during a food delivery. She's being charged with unlawful surveillance and dissemination of surveillance images.
Hey guys, so DoorDash sexual assault. Hey guys, I just lost my job, and they won't tell me why.
You lost your job, and now you're now you got arrested on 2 charges.
They're supposed to send an email immediately after deactivation.
Also, by the way, record them without clothes on. Even if somebody, like, let's say you see, let me think about it like this, right? Let's say there's somebody who's, they're walking around in their house in their underwear. Of their house, and then you publish that video on the internet. That is, I don't know if it's anything illegal, but it's fucking weird. It's extremely fucking weird. It's massively fucking weird. Total invasion of privacy. Absolutely, in my opinion, totally wrong to do. Should not be doing. Not good.
Station providing you the reason why and a link to appeal.
They didn't provide you. Oh no! This is the mind of a Karen, by the way. More obsessed with the purpose of doing things than the purpose of doing things. This is a Karen's mind in action. I want you to see it right here for yourself. The mind of a Karen at work.
So I contacted support, and they made me sit up.
Yeah, a bureaucratic mindset. They have to fire companies and nothing changes. It's because of people like her.
On the phone with them for 50 minutes just to tell me that they can't tell me the reason why, and I have to just go ahead and appeal without knowing why.
Yeah, too bad, bitch.
So my chances of getting my account, they have my money in that account. I was working! I was literally working!
Not anymore. He got fired.
They deactivated me! This is related! They just punished me for posting about my sexual assault on DoorDash.
You can see that she's very obviously trying to play this oh well, I'm this put upon girl, they're trying to suppress my sexual assault. You weren't sexually assaulted. Like, you could say it's sexual harassment. It's not the same thing. Like, you saw the video. And so well, you can see what she's doing. She's positioning herself so she can be the victim, so she can claim the moral and emotional upper hand. I am so, like, at the beginning, I was like, I don't know if I really agree with this, right? And after, I never watched this video because who cares? But now I'm watching it. Thank God this stupid, annoying bitch is in jail. Thank God. This is beautiful. What a great day for me. They are literally putting the Karens in jail. I used to pray for times like this.
They just fired me! Police are doing nothing!
You're not complaining anymore, are you? Now the police did do something about it. You should be happy.
I lost my job! That's my only way to make money to pay my bills! 3 days ago,
Yeah, too bad. Well, now you're not going to have any bills because you might go to jail.
October 12th, 2025, I was a victim of SA by a DoorDash customer while I was doing my job as a DoorDash driver. Excuse me if you've already seen this. This is my third time posting this because TikTok keeps silencing me and taking my videos down and giving me shit. So if I get
they keep silencing you and taking your videos down because you're distributing basically pornographic images of a person without their consent while you recorded them inside of their home. Did a person consent to having that happen? They're in their own house. The guy should sue her. That's what he should do. He should sue her for doing this.
one more strike, you guys. I'm just letting you know right now my account is going to be banned.
I wouldn't worry about your account anymore.
So I'm going to try to word this as chill as possible to avoid...
Yeah. So this girl's really in it for the love of the game. Like, she really wants this attention. Like, how many videos is she gonna make? They requested that their order be left at their front door. Okay.
Their front door was wide open. Their lights were on. And they were sleeping on the couch within eyesight of the front door. With their pants and underwear pulled down to their ankles.
And so, just so I can understand, the Ring camera showed that she opened the door. Is that true? Is there a video of the Ring camera showing that she opened the door? Yeah, is there a video of it? Well, here's a good way to look at it, okay? The police obviously can figure out what a Ring camera is. They know what a Ring camera is. And they charged her twice. To be a girl and to get charged twice, that's hard to do. You had to have done something wrong. Women get medically treated way better by the justice system than men do. It's not even remotely close. You want to talk about a privilege? That's a privilege.
I got this on video. I'm not going to be posting the video clip anymore because I'm pretty sure that's what's getting me the strikes.
I'm pretty sure I was
But yeah, I reported it to DoorDash, and DoorDash banned the customer. And then 2 days later, DoorDash banned me. Which doesn't seem...
That's smart, that's what I do. Yep, just get rid of them.
Unrelated. I appealed, and they were able to respond to my appeal within 7 to 10 business days.
Yeah.
They didn't even provide me a reason for my...
No. They don't have to do anything. You see, bureaucratic Karens. This is a bureaucratic bad faith Karen in action. Weaponizing systems and different types of bureaucracy and other types of oversight and types of cooperation. This is how a Karen operates itself inside of modern society. Concentric circles of bureaucracy to protect itself from bad actions.
And then you
yeah.
So I did. TikTok is currently punishing me
That's right. They punished you. They did.
for exposing my story time.
And you can see again, you know, you see the shifting of this, right? Where she's clearly trying to lean on this idea of being sexually assaulted, so she can use this as like emotional blackmail to make everybody listen to her and do what she wants. Basically, that's it. She's using leading language. Yeah. Probably not. No.
That's the only question I'm getting, because I also reported this to the police, and the police are doing nothing.
Well, how about that? They're not doing a thing.
A whole 24 hours.
Holy shit. How many videos are there of this?
And Ali's bit that you've shown, it's really
How oh my god.
and that's really helping me through this.
There are so many toxic like when we talk about like the Andrew Tate toxic male communities, this is the female equivalent to that, by the way. This is it right here. You're seeing it. It's a bunch of dishonest, disingenuous, obnoxious, stupid women that get together, that are liars, that try to
cocksucker!
Situations, emotionally blackmail everybody, and put themselves in a position where they get to tell everybody else what to do. This is the exact thing. Like, you want to talk about toxic male behavior, that's fine. I think there is some of that. This is toxic female behavior. This is it right here. And now we have the Karen going to jail. Oh my god! I am so happy. Wow.
So the update is, last night I was made aware.
If a guy that's still running, would he be looking at 4 years in jail? I mean, I think it really probably depends.
A bunch of people started commenting on my pages that DoorDash made a public statement about
DoorDash did?
TikTok.
Did it say anything?
Instagram post in the comment section. I'm not going to speak too much further detail.
No, she's trying to sue them. Yeah.
I and the entire rest of the world found out why I lost my job at the exact same time. I didn't.
They had to tell you? You really think that they had to tell you holding a customer naked and then posting it on the internet would cause you to lose your job? You had to have them tell you that?
I didn't find out before you guys. I'm just
What? I mean, really?
right now. The people that saw their public statements and made me aware that they made those public statements knew why I lost my job before I did. Because I went and I checked my email once I was.
You're a DoorDash driver. If you wouldn't even do it, they wouldn't even do it. They'd be like, well, wow, this account's inactive. Let's delete it out of the system. They don't care about you. She's acting like this is like they owe her something. What do you mean? I didn't even know any of this. I can't believe I missed it. They should ban her TikTok accounts. They should. Because if she got charged, that means that she committed a crime by disseminating that information on the website. And they should have to ban people committing crimes by using the website. They should ban Yeah, what did they say? We all? Who's we? Nobody cares. You're getting arrested. Wait, I don't. I mean, like, the courts are like so. It's so blatantly biased in the courts, but at the same time, I do think that I do think there's a chance that this person could actually end up going to jail. And this will ruin her life, by the way. This will 100% ruin her life. This is amazing. I used to pray for times like this. And I'm going to explain why, because some people might be like, oh, why are you happy about this? This is the person that lost their job, everything. I think this is such a great and amazing thing. And I'll explain the reasons why. Number one, you're recording a person without their consent in their own home. If the door was closed and you recorded them through the window, it would be problematic also. So you're also distributing this. You're basically creating pornographic material of a person without their consent and putting it on the internet publicly. And at the same time, you're weaponizing things like being sexually assaulted by having a fat guy laying on a sofa with his pants down after allegedly you're intentionally, and she's zooming in on him. You're zooming in on this guy. So you didn't send this to the police. You didn't go to the police about this. You went to TikTok. Right. Why didn't you send that to them? It's not alleged. Well, as far as I know it is. But, yeah, there it is. Breaking and entering. Well, we don't know about that or not. What is this here? The onboard video has nothing in it. The guy's covered. It shows the side of his thigh. Female clothing can be more revealing than the way this guy is in the video. Well, anyway, and then she goes, and then she acts like, oh, wow, well, they need to solve this problem for me because I'm so important. You're a fucking DoorDash driver. Do you think that you matter? You're expendable. You're completely expendable. And so anyway, this is what happens. So yeah, our argument is that she walked into a private space where a person's naked and she didn't like that, doing private things in her private place? Yeah, exactly. Do you think the police know 100% that someone is a criminal and who should be in jail? They saw somebody rob a bank, they don't know it? Well, I don't know about this. I have no idea. I don't think she robbed the bank. I don't think they know for sure. But this is a amazing thing. We need to put more Karens in jail. This is what I want to see more of every single fucking day. And luckily and hopefully, after enough of them are put in jail, the world can finally improve. She's literally a 2%er. She is a 2%er. And you can see her and how she talks about it, everything like this. This is the enemy of America right here. This is it. This is the prime enemy. It's not the Jews. It's not the black people. It's not the Middle East. It's not even all the Muslims. This is the enemy. Right here. The prime evil. Just being honest. That's it. The prime evil. Mentally ill people. Optics-obsessed, virtue-signaling, obnoxious, privileged Karens that will import every problem from the rest of the world into America to satisfy their suicidal empathy that's actually narcissism disguised. And they will also manipulate, lie, and misrepresent every situation to avoid any accountability from anything that they ever do, blame everything on systems, create endless levels of apparatus systems to protect them from their bad behavior, and to effectively waste and destroy resources by trying to provide different levels of insulation from accountability. That is the prime evil in America.
No intro today, black man in trouble. This specific black man in trouble, I'm gonna get so canceled for this video. This specific black man currently under fire is a alleged murderer. A man that murdered another man. Now you're probably thinking, wow, that's pretty fucked up. I would say that it's pretty racist not to hate this black guy. Well, the answer is, what the fuck? Society is crumbling. So let me catch you up to date. This is a very sad story, okay? So we are going to cover it with all levels of professionalism we possibly can, because, okay, listen, I am not known for my stoicism and professionalism, all right? I'll be real. So this is the story that happened, all right? There was a 17-year-old kid named Austin Metcalf. He was 17, and he was stabbed to death. This guy was stabbed to death by this guy, in public, like, in broad daylight, in school. This is a clip of this guy's twin brother who was there and literally saw it happen. We're gonna watch this little clip. I'm gonna catch you up on the context, and then we're gonna talk about how, for some reason, Black Lives Matter is defending this guy. I've said this a very long time ago, and I'll say this again because it continues to ring true. Every group's worst enemy are the group themselves, all right? The reason why the Democrats lost the last election is not because of the Republicans. It's because the Democrats became retarded. The reason why people aren't taking Black Lives Matter seriously is because they are supporting an actual fucking murderer, allegedly, based on my opinion on things that I've seen on social media. We are going to go down this rabbit hole. It's fucking awful. How could this be? Why did he stab him? We're covering the entire story, A to Z, all the hypocrisy, all the bullshit, and it's such a travesty. It's a tragedy that this happened, and it's a spiral that got so much infinitely worse. Holy shit. Come on, guys. I am not racist, so when I see a fucking murderer kill somebody, I want that dude cooked, because I'm not racist.
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not gonna talk about the rest. So that's just what I saw. And I tried to help him. But
It's fucking awful.
It was just senseless.
It was really senseless. Really, I don't know why a person would do that to someone just over that little argument. It's just crazy in this world nowadays how people just up and do that. Like a man has a family. That man has people that care about them all the time, and he did everything for our family too. He was a strong man. He was a strong kid.
It's a fucking tragedy. It's unbelievable. Apparently, this dude was sitting in this dude's seat, and he said, "Yo, move out of my seat," and this dude stabbed him. Apparently. Now, there are many causes societally, and you know, whatever you want to say about it. And obviously, this person is fucking unhinged. However, realistically, this is a fucking awful thing, and this piece of shit should be in jail forever. Realistically, trying to be honest here and not trying to get into too many racisms. All right. So Asmongold reacted to this, of course. A little 2-minute clip of Asmongold's reaction. I didn't see it yet, but I want to hear what he has to say. And then we are going to look down this rabbit hole, because there are so many rabbit holes specifically here. They started GoFundMes for guess who? Guess who the GoFundMes are for? Huh, probably the family of the kid who got murdered, right? Psych! It's for the murderer. Crazy.
Austin's twin brother opens up as threat. Oh yeah, so this guy, I don't really know like what happened with this story, because like there's been a lot of like information back and forth. But at the end of the day, this dude stabbed this dude to death, right? Killed him, and it was over some bullshit. This is apparently his brother talking about it.
There was.
Yeah. The worst thing is, if I was the leader of a black activist group, which probably will never happen realistically. Look, I like to keep my options open as much as I can for the future, but I am just saying the chances of me becoming the leader of a giant black activist network is very slim. Very slim. But if I was in that position and I was in charge of a black activist network, the first thing I would do is condemn this fucking piece of shit murderer, because he's a fucking piece of shit murderer. If you're gonna defend every single person because they are in your goddamn group, then your group is shit. Unfortunately. That's just kind of how life is. This isn't saying, when I say group, I don't mean black people. I mean the specific activist groups. Like that, if you're an activist group that is fighting, let's say, for Jewish people, all right? And there's a Jewish guy that murders somebody, I would be the first person to condemn that guy, because that is not what I stand for at all, all right? And I think realistically that is, that's the best for my people. That is the best for your people. That is the best for the people you're advocating for. If you are lumping in murderers into the group of people you're advocating for, you lost the fucking plot and your movement is dead.
This kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track.
Yeah.
We asked him to move. he started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." And he's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my
So you go, this dude's stabbing somebody over a seat. So whenever I said he stabbed him over some bullshit, like I didn't even understand, like really.
Yeah,
so he's stabbing him over.
It was actual professional levels of nothing.
It was really senseless. Really, I don't know why a person would do that to someone just over that, up and do that.
I tell you why. It's because it's not the first time that this has happened. I don't like getting into the race politics of stuff.
See, I love getting into the race politics of stuff. I just don't do it. But I love doing it. That was a joke. That was a joke. Kidding. Not getting into anything here. All right, listen. He's a murderer. Put him away at the end, period.
I feel like down the road with the race politics is also gender politics, and I disagree with the conclusion of those gender politics. I disagree with the idea that men should be considered dangerous collectively because men statistically commit more crime. Well, honest, whenever you see people that are violent and go with impulse control, these people are not fit for society. I think that anybody who pops off over a seating dispute and kills somebody over a seating dispute, he should have never been in a situation to have let this happen in the first place. And I mean,
he's right. The question is, at what point do you just pop off? Like, there's an obvious problem. I think it is very fair to say that men are more violent than women. I think that is kind of being realistic about life, right? Statistically, if you look at violent crime, so yeah. Saying that all men need to be in prison, obviously, I think a society that actually teaches men and women different values to some extent. The fact that the government is trying to basically, I'm going to be incredibly it doesn't work. Daddy government, sorry, it's not going to ever work. Men and women are biologically right? So they operate differently. So I'm not talking about him going to those conclusions about how people need to be, get a test and look into their mental health. But the thing is, how do you a blue-haired person on Twitter is going to be offended by this. It happens a lot. We tend to make content out of the retards on this channel, so definitely subscribe.
I think a lot of these people, they exhibit antisocial behavior, violent behavior for many, many years. Nothing is done about it, and then eventually it goes over the line, and then we're gonna have to pay a bunch of fucking money to keep this piece of shit in jail.
True. Basically, what Asmongold is saying, they should execute people. I didn't say it. Asmongold said. No, I'm kidding. Asmongold. I'm joking. Unless. No, but the reason why I mentioned this is because it's really hard. What behaviors specifically are behaviors that are indicative enough of literally putting someone in a home for the rest of their life? Like, how do you register that behavior? Like, I'll give you a hypothetical. In Israel, for example, there's mandatory military service. Every single person in Israel has to go through the military after they finish high school. The military has a really good fucking idea on the psyche level of basically every single person that's actually going through a military. So they understand who is fit to carry a gun and who is not. Because they literally train these people. In America, there's no mandatory draft. Thank God. There's no mandatory draft. And because of that, I don't know how you're ever going to have a actual objective opinion on the actual dangerous levels of different individuals. It's a scary road to go down. Congress could imprison people because they feel like that they are dangerous. But obviously, if someone does exhibit dangerous behaviors, they shouldn't just be like, oh, well, I don't want to be called a racist, so I'll just, you know, let the criminal back on the streets. Which, unfortunately, seems to be happening.
Like, I'm a big fan of institutionalizing, and I understand that some people might find that to be wrong, or you should not institutionalizing people like this is a good thing. They're trying...
No, people like this, absolutely. They need to be locked up. He's a murderer. Oh, murderer.
To do something that makes them feel good, like, it's not helpful. It's not. And that's the big problem. All we're doing with these people is that we give them forks and we expect them not to stick with that. The sooner that you separate them from society and you're able to deal with them in a way that's healthy for not only them, but also the people that they can negatively affect, the better off it is for everybody.
So, I'm glad we were able to cover the very brief instance of how, basically, you got this innocent white dude stabbed and murdered by a black dude. We told that story in great detail. It's open and shut. There's no possible way you could possibly defend the murderer, unless, of course, you are the largest leftist political streamer in the world, also known for supporting terrorists on a daily basis, Hamas Piker. Let's hear what he has to say. He has some pretty brilliant political insight here.
Oh, we're also gonna do the catnip for racist right-wingers. This story.
The story about an innocent kid that was murdered. Catnip for racist right-wingers. What? What the frick, man? An innocent kid got murdered. This is very classy stuff. Largest leftist political streamer, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, it gets worse.
As well, which is wild because accounts. I'm pretty sure accounts that have portrayed themselves as black people on Black Twitter, but are ultimately blue checkmark power farmers.
So he is saying that this posting this story, he is actually a secret that poses to get likes on his tweets. That's Hassan's take.
Are now also participating in the prop.
That's right. Let's call this guy black profile picture. He's probably a white guy. A white supremacist cosplaying as a black guy. Anyway, I'm gonna just spoil the surprise. This is Fearbuck. Listen, I'm not as a non-racist myself. This man black. Okay, he black. Mr. Hassan Piker, power leader of the left. Absolute really black. Alright, listen, I ain't getting into these details here. But anyway, I love how he sees a black guy covering a story. A kid that gets murdered, because that's what happened. And then Hassan is like, white supremacist, power lifter.
Which I find to be insane. Unsurprising, but god damn. Like, that's how desperate you are.
He's reporting a story that just happened where a student was murdered in public, in broad daylight. I don't know how you scratch your head and be like, story.
Of Twitter revenue? Very cool. Yeah. No, Fearbuck was discovered as a white nerd a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, white nerd, Fearbuck. He's just lying. Like, it's not that it matters. I don't care if Fearbuck is black or white. You can report this story, whatever fucking color you want. You can be gay, straight, or whatever the fuck in between. Bro, this is a story of a dude that was murdered. How is he making this like a whole race issue?
Dude, motherfucker in all of it.
Calling out a black guy for saying the N-word right now, but he's not calling out the black guy for murdering this kid? Alright.
Yeah, the fucking slop posters have pivoted to money's drying up, I guess. So the slop posters pivoted to full tilt white supremacist shit.
That's right. My favorite one. Kanye West.
And we're gonna cover that story in a second because Republicans have gone crazy over it.
Yeah, Republicans are mad that an innocent kid was murdered. I don't understand how this shit comes out of his mouth. How does he not understand that he's like actually retarded? Republicans are like murdered. Losers.
Old man, somebody was going turbo racist. I will explain.
He doesn't explain it all. In this clip specifically on Twitter, he explains it in this video, which it went wiped off the internet. Don't worry, I found another re-upload of it. We're not going to cover this entire thing in great detail while because this dude's coverage is the most bullshit I've ever heard in my life. But don't worry, gamers. Don't worry, gamers. He wraps up the news coverage in potentially the best way possible.
And before people say like role reversal,
I fully believe role reversal is important. I think it's a stab the black kid. The entire time will be up in arms talking about systemic racism. The guy that stabbed the white kid. Not a relevant topic to discuss, suspiciously enough. So, I think role reversal is important. This guy doesn't, and he's gonna explain why.
know what the role reversal looks like. Okay, the role reversal is Daniel Penny exonerated and becomes.
Yeah, because it was literally self-defense. How could you possibly compare Daniel Penny, a guy who killed someone in self-defense, who was exonerated by the courts of New York for self-defense? How could you compare him to this story where just a
Trader Rick is closing shortly.
Somebody else
Finish your
and
damn
says, "Hey,
business
you're
or
sitting
come
in
back
my seat,"
tomorrow.
and then he gets stabbed in the
Still
arm.
alive.
How can you possibly compare these two stories? He's saying that the role reversal is an open and shut self-defense case. Are we all collectively insane?
The conservative hero, and also on top of that, exonerated, becomes a conservative hero, gets a fucking job at like Andreessen Horowitz. So we know what the difference is. We know what the role reversal looks like. Okay.
The role reversal is what? If it wasn't self-defense, if it was a white guy that stabbed a black kid like this, the dude would be literally on death row by now.
When a white person kills a black person.
Yeah, when that happens, the entire country gets lit on fire, okay? When that happens, you get protests for days, you get a national story, infinite coverage jutsu, and, you know, I don't know if this guy remembers what happened when George Floyd died, but it was a little more talked about than this case. I don't know what he's talking about. Dude is, like, completely insane. I think he's straight up, I think he knows he's lying. He knows he's bullshitting, and he is straight up just saying this in order to farm virtue signal points from his audience. Like, no one believes this. Even he knows it's bullshit. There's no way even he believes this.
Regardless of what either party has engaged in. So, just so you understand, stand your ground does not work for black people. Every black person knows it. There's no stand your ground if you're black. Stand your ground is if you are a black victim of a white assailant. In any case.
Yeah, so there he is, kind of black guy that murdered a kid, first degree, in my opinion. Thank you so much for coming to Hassan's incredible coverage of this absolute dog shit. Hell yeah, dude. I absolutely love whenever this guy weighs in and drops his political truth bombs on the world. Oh, yeah, baby. But we're going to dive a little deeper into this case. This is the wildest shit in the world. It's the most probably warped coverage of anything I've ever seen in my life. So, shout out to this guy for giving me endless content. Holy fuck, what a retard. You are not ready for the next Hassan Piker is fucked video that I'm working on. It is going to be massive. Yeah, I also agree that people should institutionalize the question is figuring out how they're doing it. But ultimately, I do think that there is that in the streets of the dude stabbed someone because he sat in because he asked him to move out of his seat. He stabbed someone for murder. There is zero whatsoever reason to ever let this man into society ever again. And you know what? Because of pressure, if this would have happened in 2020, he would have been let out. Alright? That's in my opinion. I don't know. But if this would have happened in 2020, this dude would end up back on the streets. Because you're obviously a racist. He's fighting back against white supremacy and shit like that. You know? A lot of the retardation rabbit hole on this one goes a lot. They try to claim self-defense for this. Okay? So, lock in, boys and girls. It's gonna get hairy. So, cap 17. No one seems to care about this for some reason. Now, I look at the world through the perspective of what if things were flipped, right? When I see like a woman slapping a man, like that in their relationship, you see a woman just slapping a man and punching him in the nuts. My first question is if there was a man that was slapping around a woman and punching her in the vagina. Would society be treating this perhaps differently? The answer is yes, and we all know it, and it's the same thing here. There is no national outrage that this man was killed. In fact, the reason why this account is saying say his name, Austin Metcalf, is because essentially, it's not even covered. It's barely covered. This isn't like a story that people are even talking about with detail. So, it's kind of wild. Watching the way this is even covered. Wrong place at the wrong time. And, honestly, it's cases like this that really make you think about how little control we ultimately have. Say it's God, say it's destiny, say it's chance, whatever you want to say, but you have to recognize we have no control, and make the most of what you can at the time that you do that. Unbelievable fucking thing.
Or imagine that his son's future would be cut short.
It's crazy. Story that we've already talked about. There was an illegal knife as well. Apparently it was an illegal knife that he had in his bag that he brought to school illegally. The guy asked him to move out, and dude just move out of my seat, and dude just kind of bent down, picked up a knife, and stabbed him in the heart. Which is, it's unfathomable that this shit can just happen. It really is. It's tragic.
First degree.
I'm going to show you why I'm covering this today. We're going down the hypocrisy rabbit hole. As you know, I hate activists in general. Activists are one of my least favorite species of people. Activists are one step above terrorists on my fucking, on my goddamn human rights tier list. But, I don't know, man. I don't know. Dude. This is some bullshit. It's a truly tragic situation. Now, this over here is on Fox News. In case any of you are curious, CNN made 6 posts about Ralph Yarl, where they specifically mentioned that he was a black teenager that was shot by a white homeowner. Alright? So, prosecutor now 2 felony charges against white homeowner accused of shooting and seriously wounding black Kansas City teenager. Alright, that's 1. 84-year-old white man accused of shooting a black teenager. We got Ralph Yarl, the party was shot by an 84-year-old white man homeowner. Alright, we got update. A white man in his 80s is the individual who shot and seriously wounded Ralph Yarl, a black teenager. Now, I'm just using this as an example. I'm not defending the fucking piece of shit that shot this kid. I don't know the story at all. I'm not here to discuss this story. CNN did not even talk about this story. But they didn't talk about this. Talk about this. Like, the only thing they mentioned is police say a 17-year-old was fatally stabbed by another student. Like, what are you gonna do? How do you deal with this fucking propaganda machine? It's only important to mention it times if it's some sort of message. It's bad when a human is a human. Alright? The color politics, they don't at least in instances like this. It's awful. It's fucking awful that this happens. And the media just be complete assholes. Now, in case you're curious, there are currently 12 different fundraisers on GoFundMe for Carmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf, it's a victim. Carmelo 4.0. Carmelo. What are we saying with? He stabbed him in the head. What is even happening? Real life. Oh, God. Like, man in the chest. Holy fuck. Against the So when I see the media, I'm literally twisted. And this is why they lost the last election. is chaos. The reason why I tell these stories is because I know that this is going to be spun up into some whole race war type shit. And again, I'm not getting involved in any form of race war specifically. I'm just calling out the bullshit that happens on a daily basis. And you're getting this from fucking blue retard on the internet. No one actually wants to cover this properly, goddamn. Look, I know what BLM is supporting. Honestly, BLM is the first person to call him out and condemn him. Because this is CNN pulled some other BLM pulled some other bullshit a couple weeks ago that I don't think I ever talked about. There is a man named Daniel Penny is someone who was riding the subway. I think he was a Marine or something. He was riding the subway, and there was a black fella that rode the subway that and threatened a lot of people. And in self-defense, this guy saved people on the train by catching this dude and put him in a chokehold, and he ended up dying. After that because he was ruling self-defense. That story, I didn't go through these stories. I don't have any major situations specifically, but it seems like that was the case. He acted in self-defense. The court said not guilty. Now, interestingly, this is BLM's response.
We need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
What are you implying when you say that? To go after white people that are doing self-defense? What is that?
People want to us.
But that's really not what happened at all. What happened was the choke thing happened based on kind of a self-defense situation.
And kill us for being loud.
For being loud, it was literally threatening the lives of people on the fucking train. Like, dude, it's actually threatening people's lives.
How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us?
Honestly, if there's any white guy trying to kill this dude, I hope this dude acts in self-defense and kills the white guy. That's my opinion. However, that's not what happened in this case.
I'm tired.
So when BLM broadcast this shit after the Daniel Penny situation, definitely lost a lot of traction. I think Black Lives Matter as a movement is so cooked right now, and it's so sad. Because what Black Lives Matter was supposed to be was say, racism exists, we want people to not be racist. That was ultimately what that was all about. Right? That was ultimately what Black Lives Matter was supposed to be about. It ended up getting exposed as being like some sort of scam. I don't know, I didn't do all the research on that. It was funny. There were a lot of riots that happened through BLM. But as it stands right now, they fucking cooked themselves. They literally cooked themselves on this entire situation. This is not the case of Black Lives Matter standing up against racism. This is Black Lives Matter defending criminals. And it's so antithetical to their entire cause. It's tragic. Anyway, we got actually Justice Warrior doing a video talking about how this fame the white victim to protect the killer. So he goes through this entire situation. The last time we react to this video. So I'm going to look into it and see what actually went down with this back. But from what I saw, it's pretty open case of literally actually shooting themselves in the ass and completely torpedoing their credibility. So lock in, boys. Let's see what happens.
Here's some new court documents revealing how Austin was stabbed to death at a train in Mexico. Police say the teenager had fresh blood on his finger.
Another teenager? The murderer? Oh my God.
Affidavit shows that when officers arrested Carmelo Anthony, he got into an argument with him. And when the arresting officer said he had the alleged suspect in custody, Anthony replied, "I'm not alleged, I did it."
So I think and they're running defense for this guy, man. What are we gonna do?
There, we have new information in relation to the murder of Austin Metcalf at the hands allegedly of Carmelo
Anthony, who has been charged with the crime. And the reason we have to go over this is because there was such scant reporting on the specific details in the original news reports that we have now seen black activists try to fill the void by defaming Austin Metcalf.
That's the craziest part. That is literally the craziest part to me. That's the reason why I'm covering it, by the way. Obviously, tragedies happen and murders take place all the time. I'm not just sitting here making videos every time someone gets killed. But when we have and when giant activist organizations come around, literally defend the murderer and defame the fucking victim, it's just mind-boggling. I feel like people actually have to cover this shit.
By saying, no joke, Carmelo was an innocent Baba Angel and showing pictures of him in a suit and tie looking all sharp and making the case that Austin Metcalf was actually the person who deserved to be stabbed in the
There's no fucking way activists are taking total clown roll. That's why I'm here, baby. We're going through the bullshit with let's make believe facts, alright? I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. We laugh at retards on this channel. If I can smell a retard, your boy is gonna be here. Hell yeah. Chad, you know what Jews have been noticed? His air is
in this particular scenario. And I'm not kidding about this. I'm not joking even a little bit. So we're going to break all of this down. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports us at theactualjusticemovement.com/.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
So as a reference,
give me the money. It helps a lot. Every time someone cancels me on Twitter for an out-of-context clip that I'm sure will have in this video calling me a racist, you can recognize that Patreon is in the description. I also have a Patreon in my description. Every time I'm canceled, you can just donate a couple.
there is a track meet involving 6 different schools in the Frisco, Texas area. What ultimately ended up happening was that there was a rain delay. During the course of the rain delay, Carmelo Anthony, the 17-year-old who did not go to the same school as Austin Metcalf, decided that he was going to sit in the booth that was reserved for the school.
So let me get this straight. There's a guy that was actually trespassing, and the dude who actually sat in that seat told the dude who was actually trespassing to leave the seat, and the guy, holy fucking ass, Jeebus.
He was asked to leave, and then what ended up happening was there was some sort of altercation, and that ultimately ended up resulting in the stabbing of Austin Metcalf by Carmelo Anthony. Now again, details were not made publicly available, and the local news media kept reporting it as a fight where a student was stabbed. And
oh my fucking god, it's so disingenuous, it's unbelievable. Alright, I didn't want to get into this, okay? I didn't want to get into instead of being controversial, I'm not fuck up here. Just try to make sure this is true before I actually talk about it. Don't want to spread false information. I try my best. Authorities say, well, white homeowner case, dude shot somebody, the end, because of racism. Otherwise, they wouldn't be including the white and black in their headline. But in this case here, specifically with this stabbing, they mentioned a fight breaks out. Come on, guys. Come on, dude. Holy shit. This is not a fight breaks out, alright? This is incredibly basic bitch shit. Kid stabbed another kid in the heart, and he died in his brother's arms. Alright, that's fucking awful. Anyway, I don't want to get into this. It's insane.
And this is the language I often see whenever we have a black perpetrator attacking a white individual.
It's crazy. This makes more racist. I don't think people realize this makes more racist. I said this about it. Like, I believe in racism. There are certain countries, not America, there are certain countries, like in Poland and whatever, where you're not allowed to deny the Holocaust. So if you deny the Holocaust in those countries, they can put you in. I personally don't think that's a good idea. I fucking hate that. As someone that believes in freedom of speech, I think you have every right to deny the Holocaust. In my opinion, it makes you completely retarded because there is, infinite data that the Holocaust actually happened. It makes you complete retard. But if you're gonna squash freedom of speech, it literally only makes people feel like something is being tried to hide. So when you have something like that go down, it makes it worse. It literally makes it worse every time. So I firmly think that that CNN literally is favorites. And whenever it's a white guy that kills a black guy, CNN is like, white guy kills black guy, that's bad. And whenever a black guy kills a white guy, it's reported as there was a struggle. We don't know exactly what happened. Then realistically, I think you're making it worse for everybody. And, suppression of speech versus the reality. The situation is so much worse in the eyes of everyone. So anyway, hell yeah, baby. Retards.
I know that the family has said freedom.
Maybe it's not Poland. I don't know. Germany. I'm sure there's a lot of places where it's worse than I know. Alright, I'll look it up. I'll look it up. Which country is Dude, I'm telling you that my AI that I ask these questions to thinks I'm a complete fucking freak. Honestly, dude. See, this is fucking god. This is where it is. All the countries. Literally all the countries. Holy shit. Austria, Belgium, Canada, Czech Republic, France, Hungary, Israel, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Poland. Poland! I was right, you wrong, I right, you wrong, I right, you wrong. Ha! LTAN. But anyway, I think it's stupid, incredibly stupid, bro, that they denied it. That it happened, and only 3 times it didn't happen. But the fact that there are laws against talking about it literally bolsters the idea that something is being hidden. That shit happened, alright? Eyewitness testimony from all 4 of my grandparents. They're all Holocaust survivors, alright? All wiped out. And you know who else confirms it happened? Germans confirmed it happened. Where they got the toll for the 6 million Jews that were killed in the Holocaust? From Germans! And also in Yad Vashem, they literally have the names of 5 million people that were killed. But anyway, I just anyone that doesn't happen to retard. That said, the law's banning it. And I say the same thing about this situation here with CNN. I realize that they're making it so much worse. They're making it worse. Every time there's black violence, and it's black and white violence, they obfuscate the situation. It just makes people angrier.
That they don't realize this. To be clear, there does not have to be a racial motive behind the actual crime itself. But in addition to that, you have to highlight that the reason people are going out of their way to smear their son as the attacker is due to the fact that and see what happens. The police document said nobody thought that Anthony had a weapon.
He murdered the guy. Obviously a bad guy. He admitted it. This is the most case ever. And there's 12 companies set up by Black Lives Matter and activist groups.
Because Carmelo Anthony murder, and it is doesn't correspond it appears knife from it already to a physical of course people that said that he grabbed at the bag. Then Anthony drew the knife and stabbed Austin Metcalf once in the chest, in the heart, by the way, before running away, according to police. So yeah.
So, this is a very open and shut case. He's a bad guy. We're gonna put him away forever. We're gonna do the light of day. Yeah, sorry. Fuck him. This sounds incredibly premeditated also. The fact that he has a knife in his bag, that he opened his bag and said, I'm gonna do something if you touch me. Right, that whole shit, man, that's premeditated fucking murder. Like, if they gave this dude the death penalty, honestly, this is fucking awful. It's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable open and shut case. And CNN's like, someone died after altercation happens in university. Yeah, altercation, my asshole.
Carmelo Anthony, if either of these witnesses are believed to be telling the truth, is 100% guilty of murder based on these facts right here. But I want to show you a little bit of a trick that this CBS article does, because again, they love to hide in the vagaries. They love to shield information from you, even though we can find this information if we actually look a bit further. So after the sentence that reads, Anthony then pulled out a knife and stabbed Austin Metcalf once in the chest before running away, according to police. It then jumps to police said while he was in custody, Anthony claimed the stabbing was in self-defense and asked officers if Austin Metcalf would be okay. And by the way, the local news segment that I've been interspersing clips of throughout the course of this segment also gives you the same basic chronological order.
It's almost like the facts in this case aren't even remotely disputed. It turns out it's almost like this is an open and shut case that has zero controversy. Or at least it should. I'm here for the controversy. You know, I'm not a reporter. I'm not a news guy. I am a glorified retard detector. And I am sensing some retard. It's stuff in chat, so I did. I am shocked that but this is a list of scams that BLM has been convicted of, apparently. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that there's a fucking list of this shit. Page, the former leader of Black Lives Matter of Greater Atlanta, was convicted of wire fraud and money laundering. He raised $450,000 from donors via Facebook following George Floyd's death in 2020, claiming the funds would support the movement. Instead, he spent the money on personal luxuries, including tailored suits and nightclub expenses, $112,000 home. He was sentenced to 42 months in prison. Next, Salim was an organizer of BLM protests in Bristol, UK. In June 2020, set up a fundraiser to support the March Youth Charity to topple Edward Colston's statue. She raised over £32,000, but used the funds for personal expenses, including